Hey everyone, MJ here. How's it going? All right, it's a late night here at Wenwen's. I'm gonna push this back some actually. Oh, a little further away is better, I guess. Yeah, it's dark. I don't know why, but they turned the lights off and they said something about the cops were bothering them for being open late, but that just doesn't make sense here. I mean, Taiwan doesn't have a lot of rules about things, you know. All right, I wasn't on Sunday night. I've been busy, been in the studio a lot, got a lot of studio work going, and it's actually going pretty well. Clay Jewel, Joule, Clay, has asked me to sing on a tune of his, and I'm trying to work it out. I'm having a little difficulty getting the lyrics to match up and stuff. But he's released a couple of chart-topping singles lately, so it's quite an honor that he's asked me to sing on that. And I've been doing a little bit of video editing. I got another video card, and I upgraded my NVIDIA video card. It's a significant upgrade for me. But so I've been enjoying doing a little bit of video editing because now it renders a lot quicker, you know, with the new card, which is weird because I missed the audio rendering, and audio rendering is really fast. Of course, it's, you know, not as much data, but I was expecting, see, like when I bought my PC, I had it special built just, you know, for DAW work, digital audio workstation work. I wasn't doing any video stuff really to speak of. Excuse me, I keep. I had an NVIDIA. It was a 1050 Ti, which is an old card, and you know, 4 gigs of RAM and pretty slow. But even so, like when I would render, there's supposed to be like NVIDIA acceleration, you know, and it just didn't seem to be doing much. So I got a 3050. Now, you know, the latest one was a 3090, then they came out with a 4090. Those are gaming cards. What I noticed is that it's amazing. If you're a gamer, there are significant differences between the cards. I don't play games. I don't have any games on the PC. This is my studio PC. And the fact is, the gains that you get for content creation by switching cards can be negligible, and you can actually spend considerably more money on a new GPU. Anyway, this is kind of an interesting time for GPUs because it's a time where NVIDIA is trying to come out with a new, well, they did come out with a new card, but they're still trying to sell off their old stock. And so, anyway, it's confusing. There are a couple of YouTube channels I subscribe to that keep me up to date with what's going on with video cards, and it's kind of interesting. But I was looking at the 3060. So the 3050 has 8 gigs of RAM, and the 3060 only had advantages for gamers. So it would have been more money, and it wouldn't even have done anything for me, just, you know, for rendering videos. But anyway, that's what I was doing. Had a bit of a dispute this week. I ordered a bundle of tools for filmmakers, you know, stock footage, transitions, you know, visual elements, neon, energy elements, and a bunch of sound effects. And I downloaded this zip file, and it didn't have the video clips in it. Kind of mad. It's only 20 bucks, 19 bucks. But that's why I bought the package, because I wanted the stock clips, you know, but you want to use, you know, just some B-roll, right? And so, excuse me, live TV, something in my teeth. So, they have a WhatsApp number, you know, and I try to contact them and they weren't responding. And it was over 24 hours. I made, you know, some visuals about the stuff that was missing, and so I just contacted PayPal. Gave PayPal the rundown. Excuse me, sorry, I hate this. Live TV, something stuck in my teeth and I gotta get it out. Long story short, you know, it's amazing what it takes sometimes to get people to respond. You have to do something that affects their revenue stream. So I contacted PayPal, gave them the documentation, told them the story. I said, I want a $10 refund. PayPal said, yep, we have ruled in your favor. And then the seller comes along and he sends me I hate this. Why couldn't you do this before I went on the air? It sends me 3 links to a Google Drive with 19 zip files all together. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. And the guy that owns the Google Drive is not the guy that owns the WhatsApp, so it's kind of bizarre. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, they were supposed to give me 2,500 stock videos, but I got 2,100. But for the 2,100, I called it even. So I contacted PayPal and told them I want to cancel the refund, and so we'll see what happens. But you know, sometimes it's what I hate is when you have to get nasty and you have to get tough with people just to get them to respond. So what about you? Have you found that to be the case, where sometimes you have to act like a butthead? You have to be the bad guy just to get people to, you know, step up and agree. Now he said there was a problem with the download, but I'm going to tell you something. That download was an archive. An archive was made ahead of time. I know something about websites. I run like 7 of them. And I know something about downloading content because I've done downloadable content management before. And, you know, there are very few huge corporate systems that as you make a purchase, they collect everything together into a zip file. That zip file already existed, it had a part number, and they neglected to put that pack in there of the videos. So it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know if they, I don't know if they just forgot it, or if they're hoping people won't notice or what. But anyway, I'm tired of having to deal with this crap. But I did get a considerable amount. I got over 2,100 something stock video files, and quite a number of them seem to be usable. And I started tonight to do my first music video, actually for one of my clients, and it's I'm about 1/3 of the way done, and it looks actually really good. And what I noticed is, it's funny because the clips are different. I mean, they're all, you know, different sources. So you have to put, like, over all the clips, you have to put a sheen on them of some kind of noise or something, some kind of blur or something to put continuity across all of them so they seem like they're, you know, from the same group. Which is interesting because we do that in audio too. Like mixing, you know, when you want to mix with depth, I put everything in the same room. Hey Rob, fist bump, how you doing? I put everything in the same room, you know, with reverb. And I use a minimum of 2 reverbs on every mix, and sometimes I use 3 or 4 depending. And so yeah, when you're doing a movie and you got to color grade it, I got to color grade each clip because each clip was from a different photographer. So yeah, it's nice when you see these advertisements. You can make amazing videos with stock footage. Yeah, you can, but you got to spend a lot of time color grading everything because it's not the same. And I mean, you could start out by just making everything, decine-like, and then adding grading on top of it, but it's just a pain in the neck. Now, this wouldn't be a late night with MJ Klein without my LED glasses. Oh yeah. And these are the honeycombs, and I took these to Gauchon with me, and I went into that little bar and was playing guitar, and I said, let me show you the coolest thing that I own. And the thing what I did was I said, let me show you the coolest thing that I own. And I put them on like this with nothing, and they were like, oh, those look really cool. It's like, no, so I let them choose the color. One of my favorite colors is, I like the blue, but really one of my favorite colors is this one, the pink. This is it. This is the Sigma male look. So anyway, Rob, how you doing tonight? And the funny thing is, it kind of like, let me do this. I'm going to tap on the background here, and I'm gonna see if I can get it to, there you go. There you go. It looks better that way when the exposure is set, for the background and not just on me here. So, been using the same batteries, that I got, and I can see remarkably well through these honeycombs. This is cool. I wouldn't mind having, like, corrective lenses in front of these things. That'd be really something. What I want to do, oh yeah, I love those crisp all days. And it reminds me, because when I used to live in New Hampshire, in the White Mountains, going up looking at the foliage, it's really, really something. This is just a piece of plexiglass, and what I want to do is take like a Dremel bit, and run it up here and make the slot for the nose a little bit higher, so I can put it, because up here is like, it needs to be down here, but it needs to be back further. So yeah, anyway, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I feel more empowered. I gotta check this out because it does like, there is an intermittent going on. It has to do with battery contact. I know it does. I can fix it. But these glasses are somewhat, yeah. It's all about the battery. I can see that. This is the that side seems white, seems yellow. That's interesting because, there's 2 LEDs. We've gone over this before. There's one in each side. This is the white. Okay. The white's pretty dramatic, but I don't like the yellow at all. What do you think of the blinking? Now, these are steady state blinking, but they look a little bit different due to the strobing effect of the shutter speed. But there you go. And there's one mode that I really like that has, it's just it's a subtle blend between them. between the different colors. Red is another power color though. I'm just going to do this and tap on that and try to, or tap on this and try to make it, there you go. All right, I'm just going to have to wear these for every live stream from now on, I think. I think that's the only thing I can do. Those crisp fall days, man, I remember that from New Hampshire. And we have, you know, we have winter time here and things are getting cool. It's actually nice and cool now. I'm in short sleeves, but I've already seen people walk around in jackets. And it's funny because people will walk around here in ski jackets, you know, and it's not that cold, but they're not used to it. When I was in Thailand, I remember the first time I was in a car in Thailand, riding around my friend. And I was looking at the dashboard at the controls. Of course, you know, they drive on the left, so the steering wheel's on the right. I'm sitting in the left seat, which normally for me would be a steering wheel. There's nothing there. And I was looking at the layout of the dash. It was interesting, and I noticed there's no red zone on the air conditioner. I was like, what? And I realized there's no heat in the car. All those cars that we rode in Southeast Asia, I'm going to move the mic. All the roads all the cars that we rode in Southeast Asia, none of them have heat. They only have air conditioning. And I remember my friend, his car overheated. And one of the tricks that you can do when a car overheats is that you turn the heater on, because that draws the heat out of the engine through the heater core. And I was, you know, looking at the dash going, oh, there's no heat. Guess I can't do that. So all you can do is shut the engine off. But anyway, I tried to take the heat out of the engine, but it wouldn't work. Now, what's the next color? Green? Yeah, what do you guys think of the green? I have mixed feelings about it. Now, green is my favorite color. And I like there's a turquoise kind of green that I like, turquoise blue. That's kind of a bluish green. I just don't know if I like the green in the glasses. I don't know. Don't know at all. But I can't wait to do a gig playing guitar with these glasses on. I should do a music video with these on. Oh, okay. Looks turquoise. Okay. Well, it's like a light forest green. It's not a Kelly green, but it's actually a light green. Now, the thing is, right, this is a purple, okay, but it looks kind of like a blue. But what I would call turquoise is this. But I think it's showing up lighter, you know, on the camera. So let me go back to that. Yeah, let me go back to that purple. That purple's not bad. The interesting about the purple, hey Mike, how you doing? Fist bump. The interesting about this purple is that, as you can imagine, in front of my face, the grid is pretty bright, but you can see it's not radiating so much. You can see it off of my skin and my hair and my face. This is kind of a dark color, so yeah. And this is yellow, which I don't like. That's the turquoise blue, and this is the pink, and then that's white. So I think, let's go to green. Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's right. I think that's a very good description, because it seems to be accentuated. Now this is green. And so this actually doesn't look bad, and it kind of, you know, the thing about having the Leslie Nielsen white hair is that it kind of reflects, you know, whatever the colors are. But as you can see, I'm getting thin up there, guys, getting thin. You guys have been with me for about 6 or 7 years now, and You seen the change? I've been accused of never aging. I do. I age like everybody else. Well, I age slower because, you know, all the supplementation that I take. But yeah, no, there's no getting around it. There's no getting around it at all. Everybody ages. So, but anyway. I do. I have an LED headlamp. I've had an LED headlamp I've had the same one. You know, those things, right? It's like, I know people that buy a new LED headlamp every 6 months or every 8 months because they lose it or they don't like it. I've had the same LED headlamp for about 7 years, and actually it's 2 LEDs. It's got a small, you know, like the little bullet-shaped one that's kind of light, and then it's got a white one that's very, very bright. And what you do, it's got it's adjustable turret on the top, right? And the battery pack's in the back, and you press the button, and then you get the tiny LED, and you press it again, and you get the big bright LED. Now, on whichever LED that you're on, you press it and hold it, and it will cycle the brightness. So like, for example, it goes down, then it reaches the lower level, and then it goes up, and it reaches a higher level, and it starts going down, and it stops enough for you to let go. So like if I'm doing a job and like something up close, I don't need a lot of light, I use a small LED, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't use the small LED all that much. And then I press it on the big LED, then I press and hold it, and if it's, I wait till it goes all the way down, dim, and then come up, and then it stops. And it's very easy to get the maximum out of, but now for the life of me, I can't think of the name of it. It has a micro SD port charger for the battery pack in the back, but I've had that thing for a long time, and I really like it. You guys remember years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when Phoenix was a little girl, we went camping, and I wore my headset, and I'm showing you guys like the Dutch oven cooking, and we're doing like baking cakes, and that kind of stuff in the Dutch oven, right? And I use that headset. That's the same headset, headlamp, and I had it for years before that. So, in the intervening years, I have been to the Decathlon and several other camping stores and outdoor shops, and seen various kinds of headlamps, and none of them seem to even, none of them are any better. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. And I use it for all kinds of stuff. Like the other night, like I was just talking about how I bought a new video card, and so I had to do some surgery on the computer. Ooh. Excuse me. The new video card has an auxiliary power cable, and I had to dug in the box all the extra cables from when I bought the machine. Had to find the appropriate cable harness and route it through the machine, and the best way to do it was put my headset on and just so it lights up everything. And what I like about it is wherever you turn your head and where you're looking, if I use it for electronic stuff, if I'm going to do some soldering of connectors and stuff, I just like more light. I'll even use it in the daytime. I'll use it, in my studio. I'll use it like, I have an area up on the 3rd floor in the bedroom. Hey, Coco. Fist bump. Long time no see. How you doing? Good to see you. So thank you so much for joining. Even in my bedroom, I have a little area set up on a table that I do soldering and, sorry about that noise, and some repair work. I'll put a vise on the table, put some XLR connectors in there for like mic cables and stuff. And the first thing I do, pop my headset on, turn the light on, because I want that nice bright light. So, all right. Coco, I got my Sigma male LED glasses on. All right, let's change color. What's the next color? The next color is the dark purple. And this doesn't quite, there's a little bit of a, yeah, I've been saying that. I gotta open that up and figure out what's intermediate or intermittent about it. The next color is, this is the, let's do this one. I like this one. This is the pink. Yeah, and I like how it, lights up my hair. So if I tap on my face and I set the exposure just for the glasses, right? It kind of looks like there's nothing else around. It's pretty funny, actually, see? But I better tap it on the background because I don't want, I don't want it to be like that. So, hey, that's good. No, we're a bilingual group or trilingual group or multilingual group. If you ask like JL, he's, what do you call that, a polyglot? JL speaks like 9 languages or something. He's crazy. I told you guys a story about when JL came here and he went next door and talked to the Thai lady, and I've never seen her do that. She has never left the kitchen and come out in the front to talk to me or anybody else. But she was out there talking to JL, man, and he was talking to her husband, and they were speaking Thai, and it was amazing. So, yeah. You probably saw that. That was some amazing stuff. I miss those days because I miss having the more epic, if you will, content that we used to have. These days, I'm too busy doing the studio stuff, and I've got a daughter, and I can't go traveling, excuse me, like I used to. I was thinking about that the other day. It's not sour grapes, but I was traveling through Thailand and Laos and all those places in 2004, 5, 6, 8, up 2010, and our friend Dave, and he went to Laos to the Plain of Jars and stuff. It was funny. If you saw the videos, I'm like, hey Dave, if you walk up the hill and turn left, you'll see this and all that. What's frustrating is that there was no YouTube back then. There was no social media back then. And so I've been to many of those places, but just they're not my channel. But what I did do, I had a digital video camera back then with tape, and I did take a lot of photos with my Nikon camera. And I suppose if I really, really wanted to, I could put together some videos and narrate them, but man, it just takes so much work. It's a lot of trouble doing that stuff, and I guess I don't know. Won't be the reason to do it except to show off. I don't know, I guess. But I've had some interesting experiences related to that because I remember back in 2010, I was in North Carolina. I was visiting my sister and her husband. And he took me to a Japanese restaurant, and we're sitting there eating, and he was asking me, is this kind of like, like you might have Japanese food in Taiwan? I'm like, oh yeah. And we're talking about the differences and things. And now the way we were sitting, he had his back against the wall, and we're sitting at a table, and behind me was the main dining room, so. Hey Rob, take care. Fist bump. Thanks for joining. Say hi to Beck, and tell me how she's doing. All right, I appreciate that. So my back's behind me, right, is the restaurant, and so my brother-in-law's name is Mike, and he was asking me, Mike was asking me about some of the places that I've been, you know, and then he asked me, he said, have you seen like Anthony Bourdain? I said, yes. And he said, do you remember that time he went to this place and that place? And I was like, oh, yeah, actually I did see it because I've been to that place that he was talking about. And he was like, really, you've been? I said, yeah. And we started talking about it. It was just, you know, some food place, and we were talking, and I was telling him a bunch of things about it that, you know, weren't mentioned in the TV show, because, you know, you only got so much time in a TV show, right? And I remember I said, excuse me, I need to go up and I need to go use the restroom. And I stood up and turned around, and when I turned around, I faced, you know, the main restaurant, and nobody was eating. They were looking at me, and they were listening to my conversation. And I was like, wow, really? So when I come back, I say, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, everybody, how's it going? How's it going? And they wanted to hear some more stories. But so another time, the thing is, right, is when you travel to these countries, see, people are different. You can't lump people together, which is common. We do that because we think it makes it easier for us. But for example, even though Thailand is right next to Laos, you know, there's a very distinct Lao culture. And even within Thailand, there are many subcultures, right? And I don't pretend to know all of them, but I know about 7 or 8 of them. And in Laos, there are subcultures too, but Lao and Thai are very different, but they're often lumped together. My brother was visiting, again, I was in Greensboro visiting my sister and her husband and their family. And my brother came up from Florida, and he knew this. He had been staying in Greensboro for a while, and he knew this Thai restaurant. He said, oh, I'm going to take you to this Thai restaurant. I said, great, I love Thai food. You kidding me? So I walked in, you know, with a Saudi cop, and I ordered all the dishes that I normally like in, you know, in Thai. And the owner of the restaurant, he's understood what I said, and he was making these dishes. And while we were talking, he's like, you know, so how do you know about Thai? And I said, well, you know, I've been to Thailand about 20 times or something, maybe more than that. And I've been up in Laos 4 times. And he said, really, you've been to Laos? I said, yeah. He goes, well, I'm not Thai, I'm Lao. But if I open a Lao restaurant, nobody will come here. They don't know about Laotian food. They only know Thai food. I go, really? You're Lao? He goes, yeah. And I said, so you can make like Lao lap and other Lao dishes? He goes, yes, of course. I said, well, okay, cancel the other stuff. Here's what I'd like for you to do. Please, just make us only Lao dishes. Can you do that? And he was like, yeah, of course. So well, you should have seen him. The guy was like, he was ecstatic, you know. And so he went to the kitchen, and then these dishes started coming out, right? And they looked different than on the menu. And again, this is a situation where I'm talking about all the places that I've been, and people in the restaurant are like, oh, this guy's been, he's been here, he's been there, right? And so what was happening was these dishes were coming out of the kitchen, and people were looking at them, and they were going, yeah, hey, can I get one of those? Yeah, and that dish, yeah. And so what happened was that he was making a bunch of Lao dishes for the rest of the evening, and not as many Thai dishes. And boy, that really made that guy happy. Of course, you know, he bought me a drink, and he's, you know, politely, you know, Sawadee-kap, thanking me. So, but I didn't do anything. I just do what I always do, is just recognize, you know, ethnicity. So, because I was in a shop in Greensboro, and they had all kinds of Thai stuff, and they had Thai songs and Thai music. Lots of, this is back when they had, still had cassettes. It's amazing. And CDs, and they had some posters on the wall, but there was something about the place that was just different. And I kept looking around, and finally it hit me. And I bought some stuff, and I went up to the counter, the front to pay, and I said, "You're not Thai." He goes, "No." I said, "You're Lao." And he says, "Yes." And "How you know?" I said, "I've been Lao 4 times." And he started asking me where I was, and he was impressed because I was out of being chained. So, you know something? I don't know if he did, but Coco, I will tell you one thing. I was kind of heartbroken later to learn that he went out of business. Now, I don't know if he just got tired, you know, or he just moved on, or the economy, or what, but I tried to encourage him. You know, I said that, as I recall, because I lived in North Carolina, as you know, for over 5 years. I graduated from high school there. And a big mistake that you can make about people from that area is that you think they're a bunch of dumb hicks, and they're not, by any means. But they'll let you think that. And they'll talk with this good old boy accent and stuff, and you think they're just kind of, you know, hillbillies. I told this guy that the residents of downtown Greensboro, especially you look at some places like Starmount and other places, they got money, they're sophisticated. These people are a lot more sophisticated than they let on, and they'll let you think that they're dumb hicks to their advantage. I said, you shouldn't be afraid to have a Lao section on your menu, thinking that the people in Greensboro aren't sophisticated enough to know the difference or to appreciate it. And so he, I think he took my advice, because he said that he was gonna add some Lao dishes, you know, to the menu. But that's a big mistake that people make about that region, is they think because people talk with a certain accent or something in it, you know, that they're dumb. There's some very, very sophisticated, very sharp, very real, successful, and super intelligent people in that part of the country. It really, it shouldn't surprise you, but if you go in acting like a dummy and making all kinds of, I would say, prejudicial judgments, prejudgments about people, that's what you're going to think. And Coco, you know what I'm talking about, because you came from New York and you've lived in North Carolina now for a period of time, and I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. There's some really, you know, amazing people in that part of the country, and they're really, really nice. Yeah, see, yeah, exactly. You really can't judge people and stuff like that. Because you guys remember in 2018 when I went to America for 4 days to see Dr. Sears, right, at the Institute. I went through Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas airport, and I'll never go through Dallas-Fort Worth again, because my plane got canceled 2 times due to inclement weather. And some of the workers at the airport confided in me, and they said that they have cancellations every week due to weather, and they said if I were you, I wouldn't go through here again, so I'm not gonna. But what happened was about 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, I'm in the terminal, nothing to do, and there was a lady working the bar, they had an open bar, really nice lady, and there's a whole bunch of people of different nationalities and all kinds of people, right? Had a couple guys on the left of me who were Russian, and I forgot most of my Russian, but at least I was able to introduce myself and say hi to them and stuff, you know. And over the right was some other folks, and there was a guy, and I'm going to tell you right now, he was about, the way he spoke was about as country and hick and hillbilly as you would ever imagine in your life. This guy sounded like an extra, you know, on the movie Deliverance, okay? Just like, and you would expect him, you know, to just be an ignorant hick, okay? Of course, I didn't make that judgment call, because everybody to me is an open book, you know, when I meet him. And so we got to talking with everybody around, and this guy works on oil rigs, and I forget the number, but it was like 150 countries he's been in, working on the oil industry, on rigging and pipelining. And I realized this is a rich, humble man I'm talking to. And he sounded seriously like the Dukes of Hazzard, you know what I mean? And so I'm absolutely certain that people in his travels that he's talked to, he opens his mouth and they just assume, you know, dummy, ignorant, stupid. This guy's a millionaire, clearly. You know, without saying it. You didn't have to say it. But you know, if you know people with money, you can spot them, right? And this guy was so cool. He was just so down to earth, and he was funny, and he was telling like dumb hick jokes, and everybody was laughing their head off. You know, so that was amazing. And a young guy named Chris, I'll never forget. The bartender, the lady finally had to, it was getting late, she finally had to close up, and I was leaving, and this young guy came up to me, he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." He says, "You seem like you know a lot and you got your act together." I'm like, "Well, thank you." And he said, "What would you give me for advice as a young man?" And so I told you guys a long time ago, right, that there's something about me that strangers want to talk to me. I don't know why, but whenever that happens, I recognize that whatever I'm doing, I got to stop. We've had this discussion before. I got to stop and I got to focus on what they're saying. And so he said, "You got some advice for me?" And I'm going to tell you what it was because it was private, but I said, "Yes, I do. And it's not a coincidence that you asked me. So please listen." Now, I did give him my card. I never heard from him since, but who knows? All you can do is do your best. All you can do is help people, because you know the old adage about, you know, the horse, you can lead them to water, can't make them drink, and people have free will, but you just want to make sure that you try to do, you know, the best that you can do for people and give them the best advice and the best opportunities, right? And so he was cool. He was cool enough to ask some old fart guy like me that he didn't know, because I was sitting next to him and he heard me talking to the Russian guys, and the hick gentleman was asking me about some other languages that I dabble in, and about Taiwan and stuff. And so he heard, you know, a bunch of different things that we're talking about, you know, the manufacturing consortium and stuff, and my company, Asian Castings, and all that. So yeah, that was, I got to tell you, that evening at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport was one of the most interesting evenings I've had. And the bartender was really, really nice. I gave her an excellent tip. She was very attentive and just super sweet, super nice. And accommodating about, you know, making like I asked her to make something weird, off the wall drink. I had to tell her how to make it or something, and she nailed it. So I was like, there you go. So anyway, my goal what I've been doing is I've been trying to get more rest. Now I'm going to go on another fast because, boy, I put some weight on. If I had stood up and showed you how big my gut is, you would unsubscribe. But it's because I hurt my back and I couldn't exercise. It's because I've been dizzy and I couldn't exercise, and I got depressed before that. Of course, I got COVID back, you know. It was a series of things. Now, I'm not using these for excuses because I'm not asking to be excused. I'm taking responsibility for this, but I'm telling you what happened. And so, yeah, I need to do I need to do it like a month or 6 weeks and just drop all of this and clean everything out. But the good news is that Saturday a couple of weeks ago when I was driving my car and I thought I was going to lose consciousness, it was because I was lightheaded and dizzy. And I went to the hospital and I asked him to do blood work, and an hour and a half later he came back and he said, "I can't find anything wrong with you." That is amazing because I'm 66. So that means my liver, you know, kidneys, glucose, cardiac enzymes, all that stuff are right in baseline. So yeah, that's good. So the good news is I've been wearing the back brace. They gave me 14 days worth of medication. They gave me a couple kinds of anti-inflammatories. They gave me some muscle relaxants, and I haven't taken 14 days worth. I took probably 8 or 9 days worth, and I haven't taken any for the last several days. The dizzy medication, I'm not taking it anymore either. I was using a compression belt, a really nice belt that I got in Taiwan. What it is, the big layer, it's very, very high, very wide. It's got some like bone stays. They're not really bone, but you know what I mean, like in a corset. And you take the main belt and you Velcro it together. And they got two little side belts in the rubber that you pull out and you fasten on the main belt, and it really holds it tight. So I was wearing that thing religiously. And so I haven't worn it for a couple days. I wore it a little bit today. I'm not wearing it now. I feel about back to normal. I feel about back to normal with my dizziness. So it's my goal to finish this stupid record that I've been working on. And I did some background vocal tests the other day to see what I wanted to do to spell the chords, you know, the way that you sing the intervals for the backgrounds, and it was enough for me to figure it out. So it was enough for me to work on it, to know what I want to do. No, it doesn't, because this one is not Flexeril. Back when I hurt my back in 1994, my doctor gave me Flexeril. They're 10 milligrams. I admit I was in such pain that I abused that drug. No, it is good. You're right. I fully admit that I abused that drug bad. In fact, I used up an entire, supposed to be, I think, 2 weeks. I used it 2 weeks or maybe even a month. I don't know. They gave me a bottle of them. I used them in one weekend. And I came back over the next week and it's like, you got to be kidding, because it hurt. Yeah, well, they can. And the thing is, if you add alcohol, so during that time I wasn't drinking. I took 3 weeks off from drinking alcohol. But the Flexeril, I remember I was in the studio at the time. And Flexeril is so powerful, it's 10 milligrams. I took 4 of them and I chased it with a small glass of Jack Daniels, I admit it. And it would just put me into this, I don't know, I don't know, it must have been like morphine. It put me in a really happy place, a tired, relaxing place where I could get some sleep. But I remember I was in a stupor. and that stupor would last for like 6 or 8 hours, but I would get sleep and I would get relief. So I'd wake up and I'd do it again. But the good thing is I've never had drug-seeking behavior. So as soon as the pain quit, I never took any more Flexeril or anything like that, which is what I'm demonstrating a non-drug-seeking behavior now, because the back pain is over and I'm not still taking the drugs. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, I anticipate maybe there might be 1 or 2 times over the next several days or a week or maybe more where I might have a little twinge or something and I'll just take a dose, you know, like that. But I'm not chasing it with alcohol like I used to. Of course, I was a lot younger. If I did that now, it probably would kill me. But I was, you know, in my late 30s. Flexeril is powerful. But you know, my doctor was more worried about getting his name on a database. He kept saying, you know, every time I prescribe these heavy medications, they put my name in a database. I'm like, so? You're not doing anything wrong. He just didn't want to be known for prescribing these medications. I'm like, guys, you know, I was like, I need this stuff. I can't function. I'm hurt, you know. They're supposed to load you up with narcotics at the beginning, you know, to flood you with narcotics just to get your pain, you know, under management. So, yeah, well, yeah, thank you. I can broadcast, you know, from the studio. The studio's messed up. Li Xiang and I are doing a new design, and I've been saying this for weeks, but we've been putting it off. See, there's a distinct possibility that we may actually move, but we don't know when. So at this point, I'm not putting a whole lot. Oh, this is cool. Look at this. I like this. All you can see is the glasses. That's just the exposure. At this point, I'm not sure exactly how long we're going to stay in this house, and I didn't want to put a bunch of money in building such a correct room, you know, so. Oh, you mean like the, like those old travel videos you're talking about? Yeah, I got tons of those. I need to go through them. At one time I did a digital dump of all of them into the PC, and I got to go back and find those where they are. Those videos, I'm going to have to put them in the editor and stabilize them. This is an old camcorder, you know, you slide your hand in the handle, right, and the flip out, you know, screen, and you're holding like this, and it's shaking all over the place. And there's some form of stabilization, but it's not all that good. So, but it wasn't, in its day, it was a very nice camera. It's Panasonic, very, very nice camera, and it did a cinematographic mode, so. I definitely could. I'll just have to prepare for it. Now the good news is, because I have my new video card, I can live stream at a lot better rate and with higher quality using the Prism PC version of Live Studio. Because when I used to start Prism before, it would tell me that my video card doesn't meet their standards. I'm like, okay, great. But I broadcast anyway, but yeah. My new machine is fully capable of 1080p. Actually, I could broadcast in 4K, but my webcam is not 4K, but yeah. So I just stick like 1080p. I think what I'm doing now is 420. I have to check. I forget. I may have upped it to 1080p, but 1080p is fine. That's good enough. Yeah, I thought about that, because you know what I used to do in the resort at the village was, whenever one of the ladies was cooking, I used to video them cooking, and I would try to guess what the ingredients are. Sometimes I got them right, sometimes I got them wrong, but and where they would butcher a chicken and clean it and stuff like that. I got a lot of that kind of village life sort of, you know, so. Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I got a lot of those kind of village life sort of videos, you know, and tons of pictures in too. There's nothing wrong, nothing wrong with doing a slideshow or dragging pictures in there. So in the early days when I was dating my wife before we were married, and we got married in 2007, and we went back later, you know, and subsequently had some really interesting times. There's a time when my wife and I were in Thailand in January, and they thought it was really, really cold, and they had built, this is an early morning, like 7 o'clock, and they had built a charcoal fire, excuse me, and they were cooking a traditional Thai breakfast where they took sticky rice, glutinous rice, and they basically formed a patty, like a hamburger patty, you know, out of it. So it's a round, you know, disc, flat. And they would do an egg wash. They'd put it in a bowl full of, you know, like beaten eggs and cover the outside of it with the egg wash, and then they would grill that on the grill. And they call that kai ji, which is interesting because the tones are wrong, but that actually means something in Chinese completely different. But kai ji is what they call that grilled rice. And I have video of my wife back then, and I and Auntie and Dong, who worked at the resort, you know, cooking these things, and our commentary and stuff. It's pretty funny. So that would make an interesting little travel video in the show, but there's no getting around it. I mean, YouTube didn't exist back then. It's, you know, trying to be a YouTube star for somebody like me nowadays, it's too late because my travel days are over. I got a kid. I'm staying at home, you know. So I'm doing what I can do. I'm working on the studio, and this new music release is going to be it's going to be really good, but it's very close to being finished. And I am getting extra rest so I can get in there and cut the vocal track, because that's what I got to do. I got to cut the vocal track. And then if I can do this video for CJ, for Clay Jewel, that'll be a nice gig, because he's got a lot of hits on the charts. So check him out, Clay Jewel, Joule. He's all over Spotify, and yeah, he's a Taiwan guy. He's a friend of mine. So yeah, he's Filipino Taiwanese, actually, pretty interesting. So his English is like ours. He also speaks some Aboriginal language and Taiwanese and Chinese. He's a pretty amazing guy. He's a drummer, and he's been working with the international musicians, you know, collaborating around the world. And he's decided to ask me to do a vocal track, but I so far haven't been able to finish it. So, all right, I'm gonna do that. And Coco, you know that Phoenix is like your biggest fan. And when we talk about visiting Aunt Janet in North Carolina, Phoenix always makes sure that I know that we got to go down to where you are so we can visit with you. And so that's going to happen. That will probably happen next summer. So Taiwan's opened up. Today was the official day where all the COVID quarantine has been ended. So people can land, and they have to observe 7 days of self-monitoring, and there's a protocol for that, but nobody has to stay in a quarantine hotel or quarantine themselves anymore, unless they actually have COVID, but then it's just for a few days. So yeah, things are opening up, and that prevented us from traveling in the summer. So yeah, sounds good. I will be sure to tell her. I will tell Phoenix tomorrow when I see her. So for now, think I'm going to sign off, but I want to say hi to everyone and let you know how he's doing. I wasn't on Sunday night. And what's been going on lately is the nights that I normally like to live stream, I've been in the studio doing stuff, and I look at my watch, I'm like, oh man, it's getting late. I need to do a live stream, but I don't want to stop working on the production. And it's good because I've been making a lot of progress with things, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get like output. So, all right. Thank you so much. Been an interesting discussion. Yes, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to going home and taking a shower and hitting the rack and relaxing. And by the way, what do you think of the disappearing comments, Coco? Because I had asked Jake Song at he's the lead developer for Prison, if they could implement a chat widget, where that you could select where the comments would fade, so they're not like, because they're usually, like just they take up the whole, what I'm saying, they take up the whole side of the video and they stay there. I can still turn it on for me. I can either send it to the stream or it's on just for me, so I can scroll back and see what somebody said without you seeing it. But the comments, they pop on the screen and disappear. It reminds me of Broadcast, reminds me of when I used to use Streamlabs. It reminds me of Periscope, and I think that's the way it should be. And that way it doesn't clutter up the the video full of comments. Yeah. Well, I can move it. I can move it either side that I want, but yeah, there you go. So thanks so much for joining, everybody. And I will see you over the weekend. So yeah, done block screen. I've got I actually have a box, like, let me see if I can see it. It's about this big. And so if you were to type 2 or 3 like comments, if you just went like yes, comma, no, comma, maybe, or if you just went like yes, enter, no, enter, maybe, enter, something like that, right? Hey, what were you doing in the garage, Mike? Or if more, what I'm saying, if more people comment, it goes up, and I think it has 4 lines, and then they scroll off to the top. So if I become ever, which I doubt, one of those huge live streamers that have just a constant stream of comments, I'd never be able to keep up with them. But for me, this is just fine. So, and the latency seems to be pretty good on it. So, all right, I'm going to take off and go back home, take a shower, get cleaned up for bed, put my Indonesian batik on, and dream of visiting all you guys. How about that? Thanks so much for joining. And, getting some beer. Yeah, there you go, Mike. Yeah, good idea. Thanks so much for joining, guys. And we'll see you next time. And I'll see you over the weekend. All right, so thanks so much. And please join us in the late night group. And, feel free to check out the realtaiwan.tv, which is my Hey Go tour site, which I'm not doing Hey Go tours right now. There's some controversy going on, and I'll talk about that later, but everything's okay. I'll do some again pretty soon, but I'm just taking a break from that. So, all right, you guys take care. Thank you so much. And like I used to do in the old days, how about this? We give you the, take care. Here it comes. Ooh, bye-bye. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. Sounds like Mr. Bill. Good.